to week 7. We're going to pick up on the article, The World of Nicotine. And you'll find that listed in the schedule from Sunday, October the 19th, The World of Nicotine. And open that article, and we'll start about 12 paragraphs before the end. So while you're getting that, I'd like to extend a l'chaim to our friends in Blackpool. It was a great Congress they just concluded today. And congratulations to everyone who was able to attend that. I'm sure there will be many wonderful stories coming out of that Congress that we'll be hearing about for our weeks and months to come. For those of you in the States who are able to get to the States, please come to, if you haven't already registered, you've got maybe a day left, time is running out. Come to the St. Louis Congress, which will be this coming weekend, and we will be concluding a week from today. We begin every lesson with an intention. So here's tonight's intention. There is a special miracle in Kabbalah for those who study it. Although they do not understand what they study, by simply desiring to comprehend the studied material, they attract the upper surrounding light upon their souls. It is guaranteed for everyone that, in the end, one will definitely attain the entire splendor prepared for him by the Creator at the very conception of creation, which is to give pleasure to all the created beings. The one who will not attain this in his current reincarnation will in the next one, or later, until he receives what is prepared for him. It's a quotation from Baal HaSalam and the study of the 10th Sefirot. And now tonight's lesson, The World of Nicotine, picking up about 12 paragraphs from the end. Kalim Behashpa'ah, the vessels of bestowal, are also called Galgata De'anayim, G.E. The Kalim de Kabbalah, the vessels of reception, are the Ozim, Hotam, and Pei, A-H-P, pronounced Ahap. The restriction of Zimzum Bet means that from this point on, a Parsuf must not activate any of the vessels of receiving. It is prohibited to use the Ahap, so decided Malkut, when it rose to the middle of Tiferet. After Zimzum Bet, all the Reshamo move up to the Rosh of Sag, there requesting to form a Parsuf exclusively on the level of the vessels of bestowal. This allows the Parsuf to receive some light from contact with the Creator. It now means that the screen must be located not in the pay of the Rosh, but in Mikveh Yanayim of the Rosh, that part which corresponds to the line of Parsa in the middle of Tiferet in the Guf. Each part of the Parsuf, the Rosh, the Toch, and the Saf, have 5 levels of Keter, Hakma, Bina, Zir Anpin, and Malkut. The Mikveh Yanayim, which is in the middle of Tiferet in the Rosh, corresponds to the middle of Tiferet in the Guf. Remember Gard the Bina and Zat the Bina? After a Zivug, a coupling, in Rosh of Sag, a Parsuf will emerge from this point and will spread below the Tabor and down to the Parsa, that place in Malkut that it rose to in a second restriction. The new Parsuf, which spreads below the Tabor to Parsa, dresses the previous Parsuf of Nikodat Desag, but only in its upper part, the Gar Debina, meaning on altruistic Kalim, the vessels of bestowal. The name of the new Parsuf is Katnut of Olam Nikudim, which means smallness of the world of Nicotine. This Parsuf appears on the level of the restricted Reshamo of Bet Aleph, which is 2-1. In fact, in the 5 worlds previously mentioned, Adam Kadmon, Atzilut, Berea, Yetzir, and Asiya, such a world does not exist. During the existence of this world, the Sefirot Keter, Hakma, Bina, Hesed, Gevura, and 1/3 of Tiferet, the upper third, are divided into 10 and have the usual names. In addition, there are special names for the Sfirat Chachma and Bina, being Abba Ve'ima, which is father and mother, and also Sfirat Zir Anpin and Malkut, Zir Anpin and Nukva. When speaking of Zir Anpin and Nukva together, they are now called Zon, Z-O-N. These additional names designate that these parts are from the world of Nikudim. Following the Zivug Dehaka in the Nikvayanayim, in the Rosh of Sag, upon the request of the Reshamo of the lower Partsuf, Sag performs a second Zivug on the Reshamo of Gatlut, greatness, in the Rosh, in the Pei de Rosh. In other words, Sag performs the Zivug on the level 4 of desire, the level 4 of desire, the strongest level. What has actually happened here? Remember that Zivug is a coupling of Reshamo. The Nikvayanayim is the dividing line between the section of pure bestowal and the section of vessels that will receive, but only in order to bestow in the Rosh. So the first thing that happens is a Zivug in what is called Katnut, only on the vessels of bestowal. The second Zivug is on greatness, or on all the vessels in the Rosh, both to bestow and vessels that will receive in order to bestow. As this second Zivug takes place, a great light begins to spread out from Sag and tries to descend below the Parsa, where the massive desires are. The Partsuf Nikudim is absolutely certain that it will be able to receive the light for the sake of the Creator, and that it has enough power for this, notwithstanding Zinzambet. But the moment the light touches the Parsa, the Shivarat HaKalim, the breaking of the vessels, occurs, because it becomes clear that the Partsuf wants to receive the light only for itself. The light immediately exits the Partsuf, and all the vessels, even those above the Parsa, they're all shattered. So from the desire of the Partsuf to use the vessels of reception for the Creator's sake, to form the world of Nikudim in Gatlut, using all 10 Kalim, a shattering of its supreme intentions occurs. In the goof of the Partsuf Nikudim, that is, in Zon above Parsa, and below the Parsa, there are 8 Sfirat. Each of these consists of 4 phases, apart from 0, and these in turn bear 10 Sfirat, yielding a total of 320 vessels which have been broken. Of the 320 broken vessels, only Malkut cannot be corrected, and this represents 32 parts. The remaining 288 parts can be corrected. The 32 parts are called Lev HaEvan, literally the heart of stone. These will only be corrected by the Creator Himself at the time of Gamar Tikkun, the end of correction. The altruistic and selfish desires have simultaneously broken apart and intermingled. As a result, every element of the broken vessels consists of 288 parts that are fit for correction and 32 parts that are not. Now the achievement of the goal of creation only depends on the correction of the broken world of Nikudim. If we succeed in our required task, phase Dalet will be filled with the light. Olam HaTikun, the world of correction, is created to build a coherent system which will then correct the Kalim of the world of Nikudim. This new world is also called the world of Emanation, or in Hebrew, Olam Atzilut.
Yes. Well, why did we go back over this here? We went over this because this is precisely what we're talking about. We're talking about what broke here. It's been a couple weeks. We wanted to review it a little bit and why it broke. Remember that in Galgalta that we had Reshamo of strength 4 and that came off it in Hitlabshut, but Aviyut was of level 3. and started a new parsuf called Av, which of course the light enters the parsuf and then withdraws. And again reduces by 1 in both Hitlashut and Aviyut. And what's going to happen is that this parsuf is going to do the same thing as before, except as the light is exiting the Kli, it's going to reach a time when there is both the level of bestowal in both desire and quality of light. It is going to build a parsuf down below, trying to correct all of these big bad boy vessels down here, because they are obviously the most egoistic vessels. The most egoistic. So, what is the goal here? The goal here is to find a way to correct this stuff down here. It sends the light down. Immediately as it begins to cross the middle of Tiferet, Malchut at the bottom says, no, that's not going to work. If light comes any lower than the middle of Tiferet, what's going to happen? There's immediately going to be receiving in an egoistical manner. Now everyone listen to me. What is Malchut? What is this huge desire here, Malchut? It is the desire to control desires. This is Malchut. It wants to control everything. It wants to be like the Creator. It wants to do what the Creator does. This is why Malchut immediately rises from its place in the Siyum, down here. It immediately rises up to the middle of Tiferet, the middle third of Tiferet, and says, hold the phone, no more. That's it. Nothing goes below this. Nothing. So, what we have is a circumstance to where a parsuf was built with a full 10 sfirot. And zivug was made upon that to bring light down into here. It's a parsuf. From that circumstance, a world is created. First, on what's called Katnut, and that's a level of light of two, but desires only one. In other words, it's on Katnut, meaning that it is not making a full zivug on all 10 sfirot of the Rosh Hashanah. It's only making a zivug on half of them, on what's called Galgalta V'Yanayim, the vessels of bestowal. And the vessels of reception are going to stay completely, totally empty. You want to change it? The vessels of reception are not going to receive anything. It does this. It builds this world, the world of Nikudim. And now it says, you know what? That worked out fantastic. That's what we needed to do. Let's try it again. And so what does it do? It says, this time, what's going to happen? There are huge desires here that are going to affect a request. On the level of their level. What's the level down here in their level? 4-3. 4-3. Huge, massive desires wanting all the light they can get. Problem, huh? So, once this occurs, once this request occurs, the light comes down, and instead of only going down to what's called the Parsa, where Malchut had risen to and formed a new Siyum, it's now going, and by the way, that's at the vessels of bestowal, and you all will remember that we have Keter, Hakma, and Zon. Actually, we have Keter, here, Abba V'Ima, here, and Zon. What's going to happen? Keter and Abba V'Ima are fine in the deal. But everything from Zon, all of Zon, which is Hetzegavor, Tiferet, Netzachad, Yisod, and Malchut, all 8 Sefirot, and part of Bina, by the way, are going to break. And they're going to break and fall down here the minute that light comes down. So, what do we have down here? We have a mixture. What's going to happen down here in that lower part? We have a mixture of different parts of Galgalta and Ayam and a hop. What is that mixture? Well, there are vessels that are just Galgalta and Ayam. There are vessels that are just a hop. There are vessels that are Galgalta and Ayam in a hop. And there are vessels of a hop that have Galgalta and Ayam in them. So we have all 4 kinds. Now, the most pure vessels, the vessels of Galgalta and Ayam, are going to be used now to make this world called Atzilut. The vessels of the Ahop, pure Ahop, only receiving, you can't touch. They can't be corrected. Nothing to do with them. So the goal here is the correction of these kilim, but not the correction of the desires to receive. And we have all of those different parts within us. From Mickey in Michigan, if we are holograms, after the breaking, does that mean we have a bit of everything inside of us, including a connection to the inanimate, as well as animate, as well as each other? No, we don't have any connection. What is the loss of connection? What is the lack of connection, Mickey? The lack of connection is the breaking. That's what broke. That is precisely what broke. Now we understand why this thing about connection, and by the way, let's call connection something else real quick so we can relate to it a little bit easier. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy friend as thyself is the connection. So what is the reestablishment of this connection? What is the reestablishment of where my goal is not my own self-interest, but my goal is the interest of my friend? How do I reestablish that? What do I do here? Because the problem is I have this egoistic program that's already running that forces me to want to use my friends, want to use my family, everything. It doesn't matter. I get this incredible amount of pleasure. When I feed, I've got this newborn baby, and I feed it, I get pleasure out of it. Anyone that thinks that a mother doesn't get pleasure out of bathing her baby, out of feeding her baby, out of all these things, they need to see a mother do that, because there is a vast amount of pleasure in it for her. All of these acts are egoistic. Is it bad? No, we're not saying that in any way, shape, or form. But it is egoistic. It is self-interest involved. How can I possibly
Anpin. And Eric Anpin and Atik ascend in proportion. The Partsuf Malkut of the world of Atzilut, which is in this ascent equivalent to Bina, to Abba Ve'ima, can create or give birth. The result of this ascent is that the world of Berea is born out of Malkut of Atzilut and occupies a new place instead of Dir Anpin of the world of Atzilut, under the Rosh that has given birth to it. The newborn is usually one level below its mother.
Let's stop right there. The same thing's going to happen with Yetzer and Asiya. What are we talking about here? What's this explaining? It's actually explaining how these three worlds, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, are all created. It happens through a zivug, and we'll go through that. After the world of Atzilut corrects all the vessels of the stole. In other words, the world of Atzilut, all of this, Atik, Erik, Anpin, Abba, Ve'ima, what is correcting all the worlds of the stole? This is what the vessels of the stole make. The correction of them make Atik, Erik, Anpin, and Abba, Ve'ima. After the world of Atzilut correct the vessels of the stole, Malchut of the world of Atzilut ascends to Bina. Malchut, right here, of the world of Atzilut, ascends to Bina, under the Rosh of the world of Atzilut. So, what's going to happen then? The Rosh of the world of Atzilut are Atik, Erik, Anpin, and Abba, Ve'ima. There, Malchut performs the following actions. Zivug on the level of desire of two, that, creating the world of, and so the Aviut, remember, the Aviut, we have 4-3 in Ab, we have 3-2, which, what are we talking about? We're talking about the Hitlab is 3, the Aviut is 2. So what in the world are we talking about here? We're talking about an Aviut level of 2. A zivug is made on Aviut level of 2. Desire level of 2. What's desire level of 2? The properties of Bina. You remember that because from the 4 phases of direct light, we have 0 being the Keter phase, Halkma being the 1, right? Bina being the 2, Zerampin being 3, and Malchut being 4. So, we make it on the level of 2, it creates the world of Bria. So, the level of 2 of Aviut. Zivug on the level 1 desire, makes Yetzirah. And finally, on level 0 of desire, makes Asiya. The ascent to Bina moves the world of Atzilut 2 levels up, which in turn moves everything up 2 levels. This whole thing goes up, both Zerampin and Malchut, everything goes up 2 levels here. Malchut is now in the place of Abba Ve'ima, Zerampin in the place of Erik Anpin. So these little cotton pickers rise. Zerampin is going to rise up here in the place of Erik Anpin. And Malchut is going to be in the place of Abba Ve'ima. And Malchut is in the place of Abba Ve'ima, Zerampin in the place of Erik Anpin, and Erik Anpin and Atik ascend in their portion. Oh, there's more. You bet there is. Erik Anpin is going to ascend higher. Abba Ve'ima ascends up. Erik Anpin ascends up. And so does Atik. And they are not in the right proportions because I don't have enough line space here to do it. So what's going to happen here? Why is it important? Everything moves together. Malchut is now in the place of Abba Ve'ima. This is important. Malchut gets to this place. Not Abba Ve'ima, but the place of Abba Ve'ima. The placeholder of Abba Ve'ima. This area here. That's where malchut is. Why is it important? Because it's in this place. And this place is a level of quality, a level of desire in spirituality as a place. So at this place, malchut is able to create, to give birth. And that is exactly what she does. Makes a zivug, and here comes bria. Another zivug, yitzira, and finally, asiya. Let's see what kind of questions we have here. Anil from Trinidad. Mike, when we love our friends, is that how we make our correction? You can think of it that way for now. But make sure you understand what love is. Because actually it's the opposite. It's the other way around. You can't just love your friend. You can't just cause yourself to leave this place. An individual can't do it. Try and think of it this way. You're floating in a sea of egoism. You're out in the middle of the ocean and nothing there, Anil. What do? I reach around and pick myself up by the scruff of the collar and yank myself out of the water? It's not going to happen, is it? I can't pull myself out of the water by myself. It requires something else. That's what you're going to find out about at Congress. I hope, by the way, you're at Trinidad. I hope you're able to make it. But see, Mike, do I understand correctly that if the goal is to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, will the end of correction only come when every single person in humanity becomes a friend? Depends on what you're talking about, Betsy. If you're talking about final correction, where everything is finally corrected, yes. If you're talking about personal correction, no. What's personal correction? Personal correction is me correcting my part in everybody else. Final correction is when everyone's part is corrected in everybody else. They're not the same thing. Cecilia from Manila. Long way away. Do we make our corrections through our friends? We can't do it alone. You cannot do it alone. You absolutely must have a friend. There's nothing to bestow to without it. Nikki from Michigan. I am confused about the hologram analogy. A hologram in itself has everything in it. So does this mean we are all one entity here, but the breaking makes us perceive things as separate? Of course. Of course. Uzi, Grand Junction, Colorado. Mike, will we take on the attributes of the vessels of the soul and reception in above the siyum as part of our path? It seems that here, below the siyum, we are engaged in the ego, which is the environment in which we exist. Does the world of spirituality change our desires in relation to that particular world? The world of spirituality contains desires. This area down here, below the siyum, has its desires. Food, sex, family, money, honor, knowledge. Those are the desires here. Up here, in spirituality, are desires to bestow. That's it. That's all. There's a totally new set of desires there. Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. How are you doing? How does one prioritize the goal while being sent tremendous distractions in this world? That's the whole problem, isn't it? Jasmine, it's not how does one do it, how does everyone do it? You want the key? The key is the group, Jasmine. The only thing you got that can possibly... What does the environment do for you? What does any environment do for you? It prioritizes your desires for you. Now you understand the absolute necessity of your friends. They give to you. They give to you the importance of the goal. Without that, the deal's over. There is absolutely zero possibility of doing it all by yourself. Liz from New York City. How can we not feel pleasure in love? Even the pain of love. As long as we are alive, we feel this is a conundrum. Not at all. That's because we aren't talking about the same kind of love, Liz. Talking about something entirely different. Mr. Deal in St. Louis. Mike, is the purpose in studying the technical system is to stimulate the reshamo to draw the light and sense the desire to bestow? Exactly. Very good. Right on the nose. Right on the nose. Let's do some more. Let's read some more. Wait. Let me get to my Spanish friends here. Spanish-speaking friends. From Leslie from New Jersey. So the point in the heart grows more and more. Is this correct? You bet it does. It has to. Why? What's the problem? Here's the deal. This is especially why I need my friends. They increase the desire of the goal. Let's say, here's the point in the heart. Here's the heart. And no, I never professed to be an artist, and the people in the room here around me will guarantee you I'm not. There's the point. Now, here's the deal. This point, if it was up here, in order to get it this high into spirituality, say, it's going to take 10 pounds of desire. Okay, let's see. But here's the problem. That little stinker only has 1 ounce. 1 ounce of desire. That's bad. This is real bad. Because now, I'm history. I have no way to increase this. I can't increase it myself. I can't sprinkle magic, go bigger desire dust on my head and make it grow. What's going to make it grow? An outside influence, an environment. That's what's going to make it grow. What is that environment? It contains 3 items. The environment contains 3 items. The Rav, meaning the guide. Don't think of it as any more than, well, we'll talk about it in a second. The books, meaning the material from Kabbalah. And, of course, friends, meaning those with the same desire or the group. So what's the story here? What's the Rav part? What's a Rav? Don't think of it as some spiritual guru. This would be a wrong picture. Rav is there to keep you in one thing. A person has their own opinions. Here's spirituality. Here's where they are. And a person wants to reach here. But here's the problem. Their thoughts, their desires, their own, what they think they know, all of this stuff constantly knocks them off. They're doing just fine here. But then they start to wander off a little bit, thinking that they know what to do or how to do it in terms of this deal. And they have to be brought back over to the middle line, to the shortest distance. Otherwise, if they just continue to go offline, even if they're progressing, each progression actually moves them farther and farther and farther away. So they're constantly being brought back by the Rav. Constantly. The teacher. It's kind of like just someone just showing them the ropes, keeping them on the right track, trying to nudge them gently, sometimes nudging them harder. You see that on the form as well. Sometimes people are just sure. And so they get nudged a little more and say, no. Here's what the Kabbalah say, and here's what. And sometimes people say, hey, I can't deal with that. I don't care what they say. I know what I know, and they leave. And we say, okay. Bring them back online. This is, it's like a guide. A guide. That's it. That's all. The books, the materials. What do? Think it's the picture of what's in spirituality. All this stuff that we're talking about is what you perceive in spirituality. It's exactly it. You say, well, I don't know what that means. No, but you will then. You'll understand exactly what it means when you're there. You'll say, oh, yeah, yep. That's it. And finally, the friends and that. Why is that important? Let's not leave the materials for a second. Why is books and the proper materials important? It builds in me that system. And this point in the heart is the desire to be in that system. This is very, very important stuff. It builds the proper healing in me. Have to have it. So how does it do this? By some magic fairy dust? Actually, through a force called informatii. Finally, friends. What do my friends do? My friends influence me. Now, folks, you don't need Kabbalah to see evidence of this everywhere. You raise your children right, you teach them what's right and wrong, you teach them, okay, this is what you should not do. You shouldn't drink, you shouldn't smoke, you shouldn't do drugs, you shouldn't do all this. And what do kids do? They get out, they go out, and their friends influence them more than you do, and they do whatever they want. Hopefully, they're in the right environment of friends, because it doesn't matter how good the environment of friends, the environment of the parents is, if the environment of friends isn't supportive as well. Now, this isn't just about children, because I can promise you, if you move to an area where you say, fishing is very important. I used to fish when I was a kid, many years ago, but I'd quit for many years. I moved to southern Illinois, and guess what people do there? Everybody fishes. Everybody fishes. Men, women, kids. It doesn't matter. So, a cat, you expect to have a fishing pole attached to it, and it's out there trying to catch a fish. Doesn't take long. All of a sudden, some friend says, finally, if you want to do anything in the place, what are you doing this afternoon? I'm going fishing. Why don't you come along? You go with them, all of a sudden you start getting the importance from the goal, from your friends. You can't keep from it. It does affect you. Sooner or later, the environment will set your priorities for you. That's what this group is for. Does that mean that we cease living in this huge environment called America or Mexico or Spain or wherever, South America, Colombia? Not at all. You can't do that. You have to live and you have to survive. But with regard to what is the most important goal that you have, now here's where I have some room to choose. I have some room to choose. Who do I want to influence me? What's the most important goal that I have here? That's called the friends. And that's what we will be working on during the Congress. Let's continue on some. A few more minutes.
After this, the world of Yetzirah is brought to life. Its first four sphirot, that is, its upper part, now occupy the place of Malkut of the world of Atzilut. In its lower part, 6 lower sphirot are located correspondingly in the position of the first 6 sphirot, the place of the world of Berea. The next world, Asiya, covers half of the world of Berea and half of the world of Yetzirah. The 4 sphirot of the world of Yetzirah and the 10 sphirot of the world of Asiya remain empty. This empty place is called Madur HaKlipat, the shell section. If you feel a bit confused about these last few paragraphs, realize that there is a difference between where these world's places were during their creation and where they are now. It will make it easier to find your way if you make full use of the figure in the article and in the figures during this lesson that Mike has drawn.
Keep going.
In order to emphasize its importance, we can consider the whole process once more. The world of Nikudim came out in Katnut, with a Rosh having 3 parts, being Keter, and the other 2 Roshim, which is plural for Rosh, being above Abba Ve'ima, being Abba Ve'ima. Zone is its goof, and all this is called Gilgata Ve'inayim, and spreads from Tabur to Parsa. After this, the Gatlut, the greatness of the world of Nikudim, begins to emerge, which has 10 sphirot, both in Rosh and Guf. Atzilut appears in Keter, in Abba Ve'ima, but when Zon wants to receive Atzilut, the world of Nikudim breaks apart. It is important to remember that Atzilut is the spreading of light not only to the vessels of bestowal, but to the vessels of reception as well. But the vessels of reception have Aviyut of level 4, much greater than the stream. All the kalim of the goof break into 320 parts. They fall under the parsa and mingle with each other, yielding 4 groups: Galgata V'Yanayim, GE, Ahap, Galgata V'Yanayim in Ahap, and Ahap in Galgata V'Yanayim. To correct the broken vessels, the world of Atzilut is created. First, its 3 parts of theme are born: Atik, Eric Anpin, and Abba Ve'ima, which fully correspond to the parts of theme Keter and Abba Ve'ima in the world of Nikudim. Zir Anpin and Malkut correspond to the same parts of theme in the world of Nikudim. At this stage, the correction of the extracted vessels of bestowal, Galgalta V'Yanayim, from all the 320 parts is finished. Further, we have Galgalta V'Yanayim inside the Ahap. Atzilut wants to do the correction in Ahap. Malkut ascends to Bina and gives birth to this 10 sphirot of the world of Berea, which stands in place of Zir Anpin of Atzilut, because Malkut of the world of Atzilut is now in Abba Ve'ima. Remember that Zir Anpin was just below Abba Ve'ima. At this stage, the 10 sphirot of the world of Yetzirah are created. The last one partially overlaps the world of Berea. The part of the world of Yetzirah is under the Parsa in the place of the upper half of the world of Berea. Finally, the world of Asiya is located from the middle part of the place of the world of Berea to the middle part of the place of the world of Yetzirah. Beginning in the middle of the place of the world of Yetzirah and finally ending in the place of the world of Asiya is emptiness, Madur HaKlipat. Soon we will see that the worlds can ascend and descend, but always move together with respect to their initial position. All that we have discussed in this chapter is described in the 2,100 pages of Talmud Eser HaSfirot, the study of the 10 Sfirot, by Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag. You can imagine how encompassing this great work is, describing even the smallest of details. This most important work provides guidelines for our spiritual progression and helps keep us focused on the correct goal. It is no less than a blueprint for reaching the spiritual. Our correction pertains to the second restriction, Zimzum Bet. As a result, we cannot see beyond Zimzum Aleph, the first restriction. Actually, there is no human way to even imagine the nature of reality that exists in that realm. These are referred to as the secrets of Kabbalah.
So what's really broken here? What's broken is the quality, my own quality, my desire to use another for my own self-benefit. No matter who it is, it doesn't matter. And so here I have the sensation of me, which is Adam. And what's going to happen? Adam is going to break it up into a whole bunch of little pieces of egoism. What happened? What caused it? Why? What caused it is the greater egoism. What caused it is that it fell in quality. That it changed quality. This thing called Adam that we have here changed in quality to such an extent that it perceives itself as in little parts. And it is like a body with cancer in it, constantly each part trying to eat the other. This is precisely what has to be corrected. It isn't that my friend, that I love my friend as myself, really, is I love my friend because my friend is myself. This is all one thing. Just because there is me here, and I don't feel You, as part of me, what is the difference in here and here? I think I'm going to go someplace. I think I'm going to travel just on a spiritual spaceship, something like that. No, this is here. All of this is the change, delta, if you know that mathematical symbol, the change in quality of egoism. Whereas on this level, I see me and you, all of you, and on this level, I see me. What me? This me. Not that I see you and think me. Not that I see my friend, hear my friend, or imagine my friend, and imagine that it's all one thing. That is not what we're talking about. We're talking about being one sensed the same way as you now sense your friend in front of you. Just as separate as it is here, I'll sense my friend as myself. When it's corrected, the same. I will sense his desires as my own. Obviously, there's more to this, but we're going to wind it up here. Now, remember, folks, Wednesday, there is no class. That will be, Tony will be flying in from Toronto into here for all of you coming to the Congress. It's going to be one heck of a Congress. I hope you can join us. I hope that you already have made your arrangements by now and you're ready to come. If not, you can still make them. Please write us. We'll do what we can to help you. And there will be no lesson next Sunday night because a lot of the people, a lot of the students that are coming here will be traveling back. There's no reason to have a lesson then. But we'll pick up a week from Wednesday is when the next lesson will be. And until then, we wish you a wonderful evening. And we'll see you all here in about 4 days. Bye-bye.